Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. President Droupadi Murmu embarks on first ever state visit to Angola and Botswana today. Key areas like trade, defense and people-to-people ties in focus. Giving a fillip to India's railway network, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off 4 new Vande Bharat express trains in Varanasi. US President Donald Trump says Senate should not leave till they have deal to end government shutdown. Several sectors, including aviation, majorly hit. President Droupadi Murmu has embarked on a two-nation visit to Africa. President Murmu will visit Angola and Botswana, commencing with Angola in the initial phase. This trip represents the inaugural visit by an Indian president to Angola and holds immense importance, particularly as India and Angola mark the 40th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations in 2025. DD India correspondent Akash Popli files this report from Angola.
President Droupadi Murmu's Africa visit will take place in 2 phases. In the first leg, she will visit Angola, where several events have been organized in her honor. This will be the first visit by any Indian president to Angola. President Murmu will also attend the 50th Independence Day celebrations of Angola and will address the Angolan parliament. During her visit, high-level talks and discussions on new areas of cooperation will take place between the two sides. Earlier this year in May, Angolan President João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço visited India. During that visit, he condemned the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, and expressed solidarity with India in its fight against terrorism. Diplomatic relations between India and Angola were established in 1985, and this year marks the 40th anniversary of their ties. India supported Angola during its struggle for independence and was among the first countries to recognize Angola's sovereignty after it gained independence in 1975. In 1985, the Indian embassy was opened in Luanda, followed by the establishment of the Angolan embassy in New Delhi in 1986, giving a new dimension to bilateral relations. From an economic and cultural perspective, relations between India and Angola have continued to deepen. India is Angola's second largest trading partner and also its second largest oil importer. Indian companies are actively investing in Angola's pharmaceutical, agriculture, plastic and mining sectors. In 2024-25, bilateral trade reached $5.03 billion, marking a significant increase in recent years. This expanding trade reflects the growing mutual trust and economic partnership between the two nations.
Well, Angola and India share a very vibrant energy partnership. Angola is a major source of crude oil to India from Africa. In fact, it is the second largest source of petroleum after Nigeria in Africa. They are also a big source of LNG, liquefied natural gas, to India. In fact, one of the largest top 5 to 6 providers of LNG to India in the world. Angola is also one of the leading producers of diamonds in the world, and as we know, around 85 to 90% of the diamond polishing, cutting and polishing take place in India, and many Indian companies purchase rough diamonds from Angola with this purpose.
Around 7,000 Indians live in Angola, playing a crucial role in country's trade and service sectors. Additionally, yoga and Bollywood films are gaining increasing popularity in Angola. Under the iTech program, the Government of India provides education and training opportunities for Angolan students and professionals.
President of India, Droupadi Murmu's visit to Angola has made the relations between the two countries stronger. In today's challenges world, the visit will help both nations work together and plan better for the future. It has also brought new hope and excitement among the Indian community living in Angola. With camera person Sumit Dhiman, me Akash Popli, DD India, Angola.
India's Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan attended the culmination ceremony organized to honor the 880-day intense fasting cycle of Jain saint Hans Ratna Surishwarji Maharaj at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Lauding the efforts of Jainism for the social and cultural upliftment of the nation, the Vice President emphasized on the hardships surrounding the astonishing feat achieved by Hans Ratnaji Maharaj. During his address, the Vice President highlighted the core beliefs of Jainism, including non-violence and truthfulness, and their significance in the development of humankind across India and the globe.
The teachings of Jainism are simple yet profound, and it is most needed for the peace of the world today than any time. Ahimsa, that is non-violence; Satya, the truth; Abhigriha, non-possessiveness; and Anehandavada, the multiple approach to the truth.
In a significant step towards expanding India's modern rail infrastructure, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday flagged off 4 new Vande Bharat Express trains from Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. The new Vande Bharat Express trains will operate on the Banaras-Khajuraho, Lucknow-Saharanpur, Firozpur, Delhi and Ernakulam-Bengaluru routes, significantly reducing travel time between major destinations. Additionally, these trains will enhance regional mobility, promote tourism and support economic activity across the country. The trains will not only enhance connectivity but also provide greater comfort for citizens. The flagging off of these trains mark another milestone in realizing the Prime Minister's vision of providing citizens with easier, faster and more comfortable travel through world-class railway services. Emphasizing that this is a comprehensive campaign to transform Indian railways, PM Modi described Vande Bharat as a train made by Indians for Indians, one that fills every Indian with pride.
आज वंदे भारत, नमो भारत और अमृत भारत जैसी ट्रेनें भारतीय रेलवे की अगली पीढ़ी की नींव तैयार कर रही है। ये भारतीय रेलवे को ट्रांसफॉर्म करने का एक पूरा अभियान है। वंदे भारत भारतीयों की, भारतीयों द्वारा, भारतीयों के लिए बनाई हुई ट्रेन है, जिस पर हर भारतीय को गर्व है।
PM Modi also highlighted the developmental initiatives in Uttar Pradesh that have elevated pilgrimage to a new level.
बीते 11 वर्षों में यूपी में हुए विकास कार्यों ने तीर्थाटन को एक नए स्तर पर पहुंचा दिया है। पिछले साल बाबा विश्वनाथ के दर्शन के लिए 11 करोड़ श्रद्धालु काशी आए थे। अयोध्या में राम मंदिर के निर्माण के बाद 6 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोग रामलला के दर्शन कर चुके हैं। यूपी की अर्थव्यवस्था को इन श्रद्धालुओं ने हजारों करोड़ रुपए का लाभ पहुंचाया है।
PM Modi interacted with children on board the new Vande Bharat Express. The Prime Minister commended the children for the paintings and poems presented at the competition based on various themes like Vikasit Bharat, Vikasit Kashi, Surakshit Bharat. He also lauded their parents and teachers for the support, guidance and encouragement provided. Following the event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a rousing welcome from the people of Varanasi. As PM Modi's convoy passed, people were lined on the sides of the roads. They waved and showered flowers to welcome him to his constituency. All right, joining me on the broadcast today is Professor Manoj Chaudhary, Vice Chancellor, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. Sir, a very warm welcome to DD India News. I would begin by asking that how do you assess the development when it comes to rail infrastructure in India? Sir.
In last 11 years, there has been significant push and progress in the entire railway infrastructure. If you look in the length of the railway track that is getting laid out every day, now we are almost averaging 14 kilometers a day. Last year, we had 5,300 kilometers of new railway tracks that has been laid that are equal to or more than the entire railway network of Switzerland. Last year, we made locomotives in India which are equal to and more than the total made by Europe plus North America plus South America together. We are today, with the introduction of the 4 new Vande Bharat trains, more than 160 Vande Bharat trains have already been launched. If we are looking in terms of the coach production, we are strongly moving forward. All the different type of trains, whether Vande Bharat, Namo Bharat, Amrit Bharat, there has been significant progress that has been happening in the country. If you look in the freight traffic, recently 9,000 horsepower freight locomotive that was launched from Daod, the dedicated freight corridor that is happening in the country, 1.6 billion tons of cargo, making it second largest in whole of the world. So there has been a significant progress all around in the entire railway sector that is focused on two main objectives. Firstly, for passengers, how do we make railway travel affordable, accessible, available, as well as safe, and also ensuring that freight traffic and the logistics efficiency that can be improved to increased portion of freight that can be carried by railways.
Definitely, sir. You are also mentioning this with these 4 new Vande Bharat trains launched by PM Modi today. The total number of operational Vande Bharat trains in the country is now exceeded 160. Connecting India, what all has changed with Vande Bharat trains?
So, firstly, it is a symbol of technological progress that is happening in the country. As Honorable Prime Minister today highlighted, that these trains are made in India, by India, for India. And when you look at these trains, when you travel in these trains, you can easily find convenience, safety, speed, all of them together. And therefore, these trains are the newer methods of faster travel, accessible to many of the cities. Today, if you look at 160 plus Vande Bharat trains that have been introduced, and if you just consider the example of today itself from Kasi to Khajuraho, on one side they are improving connectivity, other side, of course, they are connecting tourism and boosting economic infrastructure. So Vande Bharat train is a symbol of what all India can do technologically as far as railway infrastructure is concerned. Not merely stopping at that, we are already working and progressing very fast for our bullet train project between Ahmedabad and Mumbai. This 508 kilometer project shall significantly transform not only how we travel from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, but also in terms of how our cities are developed, how economic corridors along it get benefited, and how do we live and commute daily. And therefore, railways being the lifeline of the country is helping both the passenger movement as well as the goods traffic in a newer, faster, more convenient manner.
Definitely. Sir, how much do you agree on this statement that a robust rail infrastructure shows a country's progress and development in the on the economic front as well?
Very, very significantly. For example, if you look in terms of passenger travel today, more than 2 crore passengers take railway travel every day in our country. If you look in terms of logistic efficiency of the country, recently a report that has come out, it says that if per ton, per kilometer by railway, we incur 1.92 rupees, that is 1 rupees and 92 paisa, which compared to road, which is 3 rupees and 78 paisa, is almost half. Therefore, railways is the most cheapest and environment-friendly mechanism of freight transportation, both for passenger traffic as well as for the freight traffic. Therefore, railway network is absolutely essential. If you look at in the third and important aspect in terms of how Rail Sagar Pariyojana and how the economic corridor project for energy, cement and mineral, they are proceeding forward. If you look at RRTS from Delhi Meerut, if you look in metro rail transportation that is happening in our urban cities, everywhere the rail is absolutely transforming the way people and goods are carried from one place to other.
Definitely, and also it significantly boosts the tourism as well, because the stronger the railway network is, more the tourism would be, and thus resulting in economic progress as well of that particular region.
Absolutely. You look at all the railway and the special trains that railway ran during Kumbh or during the recent festival, or for example, as Honorable Prime Minister highlighted today, in terms of Kashi Vishwanath, more than say 11 crore passengers arrived there, or after the Ram Mandir construction, more than 6 crore. So bulk of this has happened through railways. So railways is boosting the tourism in a very, very big manner. Further, through Amrit Bharat Station Redevelopment Scheme, all our railway stations are assuming new cultural and economic identities. And that is where in each of the aspects, whether through station redevelopment, whether through new tracks and increasing the speeds on those tracks, introduction of newer trains, upgrading our coach and the facilities in terms of better facilities for railway track and locomotive maintenance. So all aspects of railways, operations, maintenance, and the new technology introduction, there is a significant progress that is happening. And as Honorable Prime Minister also mentioned today, that this technology-enabled railway infrastructure is actually the foundation for Viksit Bharat by 2047.
Definitely, and all these developments are coming at a time when the nation is walking on the path of Atmanirbharta, which is self-reliance, and also that is aligning with the vision Viksit Bharat 2047, like you've just said. The year when Bharat will be celebrating the centenary of its independence, and by that time we are expected to make everything under the sun. Well, talking about these Vande Bharat trains, certainly they will cut the travel time and provide ease of travel to the commuters. But how do you see the role of technology in strengthening of rail infrastructure?
Today, if you look in rail infrastructure, if you look at Vande Bharat train, a significant part of the Vande Bharat train is technology in terms of how various sensors are integrated, in terms of how electric traction is being used, in terms of how regenerative braking is getting used and deployed, in terms of the modern amenities and conveniences, Wi-Fi on board. If today 7,308 railway stations are all digitally empowered, all digitally connected, there is a great usage of digitalization and new technology development. If we today have to look at our asset maintenance, railway has a significantly large number of assets, whether they are in terms of locomotives, whether they are in terms of railway tracks and coaches. How we can do the asset maintenance in a predictive manner based on condition monitoring. Therefore, many of the aspects related to Internet of Things, related to artificial intelligence, how do we do demand forecasting, how do we do resource utilization and resource forecasting, many of these aspects are these days happening through technology. If you look at our railway stations, now these are all Wi-Fi enabled, therefore improving passenger convenience. When we are looking at Amrit Bharat Station Redevelopment Scheme, these stations are becoming hubs of economic activities through the kind of modernization that is happening. And therefore, when we construct new railway tracks, more than 23,000 of railway tracks today can carry speeds more than 130 kilometers per hour. When we are increasing the speed of our passenger trains, the upgradation of railway tracks plays an important role. The maintenance of railway tracks is now technology enabled. The new locomotives, I talked about 9,000 horsepower freight locomotive that was recently introduced, was inaugurated, was one of the most important and advanced IGBT, the semiconductor-based locomotive. Therefore, there is a technology-enabled component in every single aspect of the rail modernization that is happening, whether machine vision-based inspection systems, whether in terms of how do we do infrastructure asset management of our system, in terms of recently the Rail One app that was used as an integrated app that has been built on how to provide passengers all the required information at one place. So all aspects of new technology, all aspects of operations, maintenance, running of the trains, how do we look at our railway stations and modernize them, are basically technology enabled and accelerated through adoption of new technology. And this is all getting developed in India, and a big push of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat today is coming from Indian Railways.
Definitely, sir. Four new Vande Bharat express trains launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi today from Varanasi, and now with these trains, the total number of operational Vande Bharat trains in the country has now exceeded 160, connecting India from one corner to the other. Thank you so much for joining in on DD India News Asa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the National Conference on Strengthening Legal Aid Delivery Mechanism on Saturday evening in the Supreme Court. PM will launch the Community Mediation Training module by the National Legal Services Authority and address participants. The two-day event will discuss the Legal Aid Defence Council system, panel lawyers, paralegal volunteers, permanent Lok Adalats, and financial management of legal services bodies. The conference aims to enhance access to justice and streamline legal aid across India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday held a rally in Bihar's Sitamarhi for the second phase of assembly elections. Addressing a public rally, PM Modi said that in the first phase of the elections, the people of Bihar have given a 65-volt shock to the lawless people.
पहले चरण में जंगल राज वालों को 65 वोल्ट का झटका लगा है। चारों तरफ ये चर्चा है कि बिहार के नौजवानों ने विकास को चुना है, एनडीए को चुना है। बिहार की बहनों बेटियों ने भी एनडीए की रिकॉर्ड विजय पक्की कर दी है।
After Sitamarhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed another public rally in Betia. Prime Minister Modi highlighting government's achievements in various sectors, including education and healthcare.
हम यहाँ आईटीआई बना रहे हैं, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज खोल रहे हैं, मेडिकल कॉलेज बना रहे हैं, और ये आरजेडी कांग्रेस वाले बिहार के बच्चों को रंगदारी के लिए प्रेरित कर रहे हैं। साथियों, ये चुनाव सिर्फ आरजेडी कांग्रेस की पराजय तक सीमित नहीं रहने चाहिए। आपको उस मानसिकता को हराना है जो बिहार के बच्चों में जहर का बीज बो रही है।
Campaigning is at its peak in the second phase of Bihar elections. DD India's Deepika dived deep into the issues of Jahanabad, one of the key constituency which was once dominated by Naxals. Take a look at this report from Ground Zero.
Jahanabad, a key constituency of Bihar Assembly elections 2025, is all set to go to the polls in the second phase, that is 11th of November. Once a red zone area under the clutches of Naxals, the district is now Naxal-free and eyes a fair democratic process. The region, however, is dominated by the caste-based politics, especially the Bhumihars. The Bhumihars are 2.9% of the population in Bihar, but considering the caste-relative sensitives, the NDA and the Grand Alliance, and even the newly emerged Jan Swaraj Party has fielded various Bhumihar candidates in various constituencies, including Jahanabad, which is a scheduled caste seat. What's interesting is RJD's Rahul Singh and Jan Swaraj Abhiram. Both are leading from the front based on their Bhumihar identity. However, the candidates claim that the fight this time belongs to the only agenda about state's development. While the candidates are wooing the voters on developmental led promises, winning the confidence of the voters based on caste remains the key for contesting parties in Jahanabad. Although voters here demand education, infrastructural development, and job opportunities beyond the politics of caste. With aggressive village to village campaigning, Parties are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters, who are set to cast their vote on the 11th November in the second phase of Bihar Assembly elections.
Here in this report, you saw that how all the three party candidates, including the Jan Suraj party, is vying for their winning candidature. But it is the people who will decide the real mandate, who will decide the fate of Jahanabad. With camera person Manmohan, this is Deepika reporting from Jahanabad for DD India.
India's Union Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, visited Mayasa Park in Bolivia's La Paz and paid floral tributes at the bust of Mahatma Gandhi, expressing respect for the father of the nation. Accompanied by officials, Margarita highlighted the emotional moment and commended Bolivian friends for upholding Gandhiji's principles of peace and non-violence. The gesture reinforces cultural ties between India and Bolivia during his official engagements. C.B. George, the Secretary West of India's Ministry of External Affairs, co-chaired the 11th India-Armenia Foreign Office consultations in Armenia's capital city, Yerevan, with the Armenian Deputy Foreign Minister. Discussions spanned bilateral relations, regional security, and global issues of mutual interest. George also met Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan to strengthen cooperation. On the sidelines, an agreement on public health and medical science cooperation was signed between both nations. The consultations underscored growing partnership amid shared priorities. The Consulate General of India in Seattle hosted a pre-event briefing roundtable for the India AI Impact Summit 2026, attended by United States Representatives Adam Smith and Michael Baumgartner. Tech and artificial intelligence industry leaders presented on India's AI journey, emphasizing three key pillars: people, planet, and progress. The session highlighted collaborative opportunities for ethical and inclusive AI development. The event fosters stronger India-United States ties in emerging technologies. And two terrorists were neutralized by the security forces in ongoing Operation Pimple in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district. Based on specific intelligence inputs about a possible infiltration attempt along the line of control, a joint operation was launched by security agencies in the Keran sector of Kupwara on Friday. Alert troops detected suspicious movement and challenged the infiltrators, who opened indiscriminate fire, prompting the forces to retaliate. Let's take a look at other stories making news. Air India's flight AI 129 from Mumbai to London was delayed on Saturday due to technical difficulties. The flight, scheduled to depart at 6:30 a.m. IST, was held back while maintenance teams addressed the issue. As per a passenger advisory issued, all flight operations at Delhi's IGI airport are normal. The airport authorities have advised passengers to stay in touch with their respective airlines for the latest flight updates. The District Disaster Management Authority of Lahore and Spiti has issued a travel advisory amid extreme cold and icy road conditions in the upper valleys. Authorities warn that routes including the Darcha Shinkula Road and Gramphu-Losar stretch on NH 505 are experiencing black ice and potential avalanche risks due to inclement weather. Travelers have been advised to avoid unnecessary stoppages, while the police will regulate vehicle movement in affected areas. And still to come on DT India News Hour. US President Donald Trump announces that no United States government officials will attend the G20 summit in South Africa. Nobel Prize winning biologist James Watson dies at 97.
Tell us whether the British were really interested in religion, or was this all about politics?
The British wanted to know as much about it as they could. But what they got was not necessarily a truly accurate reflection of the lived reality. It doesn't matter what your religion is as long as the man is good.
I cannot not ask you about the Kerala story, that contentious, controversial movie.
It really was not just propaganda, it was just blatantly false.
You're watching DD India News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of the headlines. President Droupadi Murmu embarks on first ever state visit to Angola and Botswana today. Key areas like trade, defence and people-to-people ties in focus. Giving a fillip to India's railway network, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off 4 new Vande Bharat Express trains in Varanasi. US President Donald Trump says Senate should not leave till they have deal to end government shutdown. Several sectors, including aviation, majorly hit. Australia win toss and opt to bowl first in series decider 5th T20 match versus India in Gabba. The US government shutdown has deepened on Friday as the Senate rejected a bill to resume pay for hundreds of thousands of federal workers. The measure received 53 yes votes to 43 no votes in the Republican-controlled chamber, short of the 60 yes votes it needed to advance. It gave President Trump too much control over worker pay. Earlier, in a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said the Senate should not leave town without an agreement and called on Republicans to terminate the filibuster immediately if no deal is reached. This is the longest government shutdown in the US history after completing 38 days. The shutdown has left about 750,000 federal employees without pay, disrupted key programs and created growing hardship for millions of Americans relying on food and transport services.
I think the government should reopen. This is an awfully long time to keep the government closed, and I don't understand if the Republicans have all 3 branches of government, they've got a trifecta, they just need to work this out and reopen the government.
All right, and my colleague Jessica Taneja joins us live for more on this. Hi Jessica, how do you assess this government shutdown that is impacting various sectors in the United States?
That's correct. A lot of sectors have been impacted by this shutdown, and the number of workers that have gone without pay is only increasing by the day. This is the 38th day, and no consensus has been reached yet on what will be done with the Affordable Care Act that has been pushed by the Democrats for a vote and perhaps an agreement with the Republicans on extending those subsidies to people who are currently dealing with a lot of difficulties, be it people who are differently able or the elderly who are expecting certain subsidies when it comes to medical aid, and as well as the food crisis that we're witnessing, especially with the funding that was uncertain for SNAP, which is the Supplemental Nutritional Action Plan, a crucial plan that would give food to 40 million people, and that also got affected. But not just the basic benefits that we're looking at, particularly when it comes to the American government shutdown, but also extending it to the aviation sector. More than 200 flights were cancelled, and after that you see that there are a lot of airlines, specifically the American Airlines, which is going on to say that there could be more delays and cancellations since the shutdown continues and the Federal Aviation Administration is not able to do much, especially when it comes to getting more people from the air traffic control to work. Some have left work and taken leave, and others are now looking for jobs. So a lot of crisis within crisis that is sort of coming out of this shutdown of the US government, the longest it has seen in the recent past, Siddharth.
Definitely. Jessica, I want to ask you that what is the bone of contention here? I mean, why can't Democrats and Republicans come at a table and discuss and end the government shutdown?
When you see the subsidies to be extended for the Affordable Care Act are not being agreed upon by the Republicans, and that is the primary demand that they have put forth. And also you see the recent election results, the American politics has been certainly has taken a different turn altogether. The Democrats winning key races, and also the win in New Jersey, Virginia, the mayoral win in New York has emboldened the party further to continue with its stance and force the Republicans to come to some sort of consensus, especially with their key demand being at least give an extension of those subsidies for Medicaid or the Affordable Care Act to people who are now beginning to suffer because of the lack of funds or uncertainty that surrounds it. But now the Democrats with their new proposal are also demanding that these subsidies not only be extended but that pay packages decided for the next 3 years as well. So a lot that is going on right now has to do with negotiations between the Republicans and the Democrats and who would secure the vote to get a victory on the Senate to vote, with the filibuster now being set aside and Donald Trump not getting his way at this point. There's a lot of uncertainty and difficulty on how this vote would be passed and what kind of agreement will both Democrats and Republicans come to sort of ease that pressure on federal authorities as well as the employees who are now widely affected by this, and so are the American people at large.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Jessica. The US Supreme Court has temporarily allowed the Trump administration to withhold about $4 billion in food aid amid the ongoing government shutdown. The decision pauses a lower court's order requiring full funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program that supports 42 million Americans. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson issued an administrative stay, giving lower courts more time to review the administration's appeal. A Rhode Island judge had ordered the USDA to fully fund SNAP food benefit program for November, but the government argued only Congress can allocate spending during the shutdown. The Justice Department also warned that forcing immediate payment could worsen the fiscal crisis. Democratic leaders have condemned the move, saying it leaves millions of low-income families uncertain about receiving food aid. The Supreme Court's temporary order will remain in effect until the appeals court issues its ruling. Cargo flight crashed this week in Louisville, Kentucky, killing at least 14 people. Investigators said the MD-11 freighter went down shortly after takeoff, with one engine detaching during the crash. Investigators are probing the aircraft's maintenance history. Also, National Transportation Safety Board member said recorded transcript of the cockpit voice recorder will be made public in several months. North Korea on Saturday condemned the recent South Korea-US joint military exercises and the recent visit by US and Korean officials to inter-Korean border. According to the state media, North Korea Defense Minister No Kwang-chol threatened to take more offensive actions and said the visit of the US nuclear-powered aircraft carrier George Washington to Busan, South Korea, this week escalated tensions on the Korean peninsula. Meanwhile, the US military and South Korea's defense ministry in a statement condemned North Korea's launch of a missile towards the sea of the northeast coast on Friday. In a statement, US military said that North Korea's launch of a ballistic missile does not pose an immediate threat to the United States or its allies, but it highlights the destabilizing impact of Pyongyang's actions. US President Donald Trump announced on Friday that no United States government officials will attend the G20 summit in South Africa on November 22nd, 23rd, citing alleged human rights abuses against white Afrikaner farmers. Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social saying that it is a total disgrace that the G20 will be held in South Africa. The decision overrides September plans for Vice President J.D. Vance to represent the United States. South African officials deny any persecution, calling for the assertions false. Tensions have escalated over trade tariffs, refugee policies prioritizing white South Africans, and Pretoria's International Court of Justice case against Israel. Trump eagerly anticipates hosting the 2026 summit at his Miami golf resort. The United States and Israel on Friday accused Iran of trying to kill the Israeli ambassador to Mexico, with Tehran rejecting the claim as a big lie. Israel said that Mexican authorities had intervened to stop the attempt to kill the ambassador. Aynat Kranz Niger, while US officials said that the elite Quds force of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps initiated the plot to kill Ambassador Niger in late 2024 and that it was disrupted this year. The purported assassination attempt came as tensions soared to new highs between Israel and Iran, which have each attacked the other's territory. Rejecting the claim, Iran's embassy in Mexico called the alleged plot a great big lie. Israel has identified the latest body, which was returned from Gaza by Hamas and Islamic Jihad, as Israeli-Argentinian hostage Yair Rudef, as per the Israeli army said Saturday. After forensic identification at the National Institute, military officials notified his family for burial. The body of the deceased hostage was transferred into Israel on Friday. The 61-year-old hostage was killed on October 7, 2023, defending Nir Yitzhak kibbutz alongside 4 others during Hamas's attack that sparked the Gaza conflict. His remains were abducted to the territory on that day. A massive overnight drone strike has left apartments building in Ukraine's southeastern Dnipro badly damaged. Emergency crews rushed to rescue trapped residents and control the fire. Firefighters continue to battle flames and thick smoke rising from the destroyed building. Rescue teams carried the injured to safety, including women and children. Several people were evacuated by ladder as crews worked through the night to put out the blaze and search for survivors. Afghanistan's Taliban government declared the latest peace talks with Pakistan in Turkey a failure, accusing Islamabad of an irresponsible and uncooperative stance. Afghan spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid stated Pakistan sought to offload all security burdens onto Kabul without addressing mutual threats. The 4th round, which was held on Thursday and Friday, aimed to implement an October 19 Qatar truce amid the deadliest clashes since 2021 that killed dozens. Turkey and Qatar mediated but failed to bridge gaps on cross-border militancy, particularly Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Ceasefire holds tenuously amid ongoing TTP attacks in Pakistan. UN reports 50 Afghan civilian deaths from October clashes. After the destructive typhoon Kalmegi, Philippines is bracing for another typhoon Fangwong, which is expected to strengthen before making landfall on Sunday night. Philippines Weather Bureau has warned a massive storm spanning 1,500 kilometers is bringing intense rain and wind. Authorities have urged evacuations and suspended flights. Up to 200 millimeters of rainfall is expected in eastern Philippine provinces, particularly in the Bicol region and parts of Samar, raising the risk of widespread flooding and landslides, while northern and central Luzon could see 100 to 200 millimeters rainfall during its passage. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Sotheby's is set to auction Maurizio Catalan's 18-carat gold toilet sculpture titled America in New York on November 18, with bidding starting around $10 million based on its gold value. Nobel Prize-winning biologist James Watson, who co-discovered the DNA double helix in 1953, has died at 97. Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory confirmed his death on Long Island. In South Sudan's Yambio, a local basketball coach supported by the United Nations mission in South Sudan is helping young people bridge divides and promote peace through sport. The initiative is empowering youth to become key partners in peace and community development. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Denmark is set to ban social media use for children under 15. Novak Djokovic eyes 101st career title. Former world number 1 faces Musetti in Hellenic Championship in Athens.
Desh Ki Mitti captures the deep connection that Indians everywhere feel with the country's soil. But today, this land and the communities that directly depend on it both face grave threats. We uncover stories of innovation and resilience that are trying to safeguard this soil for the future generations.
When we follow what the scientists recommend, we end up spending less. I now use less fertilizers, but I'm getting better yields.
These kinds of structures, they actually help keep the water in the landscape, allowing it to sort of seep into the groundwater and contribute to, maintaining groundwater level.
99% of the cases that I've seen, cause for urgency is not satisfied.
The project is innovative. They're maintaining our beach like a clean city.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and Denmark is set to ban social media use for children under 15 to protect mental health of the youth, allowing limited access for those aged 13 to 15 years with parental consent. The Danish government has announced the ban, citing growing concerns over youth mental health. Parents will be able to grant limited permission for those aged 13 and above to use specific platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and Snapchat. The move comes under a new 14-point digital safety plan backed by a parliamentary majority. Officials said the measure aims to protect minors online, as studies show Danish children spend an average of nearly 3 hours daily on social media. You're watching DD India News. Our time now for sport, and India were off to a flying start in the 5th and final T20 match of the series at the Gabba in Brisbane on Saturday. Shubman Gill and Abhishek Sharma stitched 52 runs for no loss in 4.5 overs before rain stopped the proceedings. Openers Abhishek Sharma and Shubman Gill providing a fiery start. Abhishek received 2 lifelines as Australia put down 2 sitters in the power play. Earlier, India defeated Australia in the 4th T20 on Thursday, ensuring it's not going to lose the series. But if Australia manage to win the game, they will be able to draw the series. All right, and my colleague Narayan Singh joins me live on this. Hi, Narayan. Fiery start, certainly, by men in blue. How do you assess this encounter?
Siddharth, if you take a look, the kind of start Abhishek Sharma and Shubman have given, we can say that right now the run rate is around about 10 and the strike rate of both the players is above 150. So it shows that the Indian innings is on the right direction, but the rain, the way it has interrupted, and according to the weather forecast, it will be for an hour. But let's see how the proceedings takes place. If again the match restarts, definitely India will try to continue that momentum they have built, and definitely we are hoping that throughout the tournament, India played after losing the second match, because the first was the washout because of the rain, and after that India, after losing the second T20, the way they bounced back in the next 2 matches, right now they are leading the series. Definitely they will want to win the series, and presently if you take a look, the rain situation, it's a win-win situation for Team India. Even if the match is washed out due to rain, in that case also India will win the series. And the kind of start our openers has given, definitely India is going for a big total, and we know that this pitch at Gabba is definitely has a good bounce and good pace, and the ball comes nicely on the bat, and the way they batted, I think if they continues that thing, India will score a big total. And in the past also we saw that the teams have scored big total at this ground, and India puts a big total on the board. Definitely this Australian team will definitely come under pressure, because they don't have their frontline players. Travis Head is not there already. Their key bowler Josh Hazlewood is not there. They are preparing for the Ashes, and right now the atmosphere in Australia is like that. The whole attention has been shifted to the Ashes series, and that's why we are seeing they are totally shifted their focus. But next year there is the T20 World Cup in February and March in India. So in that context, definitely they will want to just check their perfect team for that coveted event, because we know that the kind of T20 cricket, the shortest form of cricket this Australian team is playing, they are going for an all-out attack, and in the past we saw that thing. But for that thing they needed a class player who can execute that kind of cricket. But we can say that for India it's a good thing. Their players are playing in a fantastic note, and after that there will be 10 T20 matches for the India remaining for the ahead of before the T20 World Cup that will take place in India. And Indian team is looking totally relaxed, but there are few headaches still now. If you take a look, there is a problem of plenty for the India. Today we saw they have rested the Tilak Verma in the last match. Tilak Verma was batting at the number 5 position, and Shubham Dubey was promoted to number 3. So I think these are the issues to be addressed by the Team India before the T20 World Cup. But all in all, India is looking in a better shape, in a better position right now.
But how do you assess India's performance in Brisbane?
Right now, as I mentioned, the flying start by the Indian team. In the past, we saw that last time only one T20 match has been played between these two teams at this particular venue. And if you take an overall look, the way India played in the Australian condition and before in the previous 2 matches, where the pitch was favouring the spinners, we know that our spinners, the way they wreaked havoc, Varun Chakravarti, if you take Akshar Patel, and all of them just we can say that put Australian batting lineup under pressure. And here the situation is different. Here it's a pitch that is better suited to the paces, but we know the kind of start of our players, our opener Shubman Gill and Abhishek Sharma has given. So they are, we can say that in any condition, in any pitch, they are ready to play their A game. That was visible here, and we are hoping that if the game restarts within an hour, definitely they will continue that thing and continue and will maintain that run rate and the strike rate. Definitely it's going to be difficult for the Australian team because their batting also not up to the mark. Josh Inglis, who is coming after injury layoff, he's also not looking in the groove. So their batting is, apart from I think Mitchell Marsh, no batter is in the right shape, and hoping that India will just their batters down the order. If you take a look, deep batting line India have. After that, if you take a look, Rinku Singh will get a chance, and we can say that still Sanju Samson is not getting a chance. His fans definitely will be not happy with that thing. So, but India has the quality. If you talk about bowlers, Jasprit Bumrah is there, Arshdeep is there. So our spinners, even in such condition, the kind and the quality of spinners India have, definitely they can just take wickets in these conditions too, because the quality of spin is will be the key in this match. And when the Australia will play in the Indian condition in the T20 World Cup, definitely they must take this factor into account, because they also need quality spinners. Apart from Adam Zampa, I don't think they don't have any big spinners who can make change and who can we can say that make change for the game and who could make things differently for the team. So all in all, I think they are not only for this match, they are looking ahead for the T20 World Cup, both the teams, to just put all the things in the right order to keep their house in order. In that context, I think this match is important, even if Australia is not looking out for a positive result in this match.
All right, Narayan, we leave it there. Thank you so much. Novak Djokovic has a chance to add to his 100 career ATP titles, as the former world #1 will face Lorenzo Musetti in the final of the Hellenic Championship in Athens today. The 38-year-old dropped serve for only the second time in the competition, but still cruised into the final with a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Yannick Hanfmann. His last semi-final victory was at the Geneva event in May, when he went to beat Hubert Hurkacz in the final for his 100th career singles title. On the other hand, Musetti beat Sebastian Corda in a thrilling 3-set encounter in the semi-final. Musetti took the first set to love before losing a tight second set and then edging the decider to win 6-0, 5-7, 7-5. Victory over Djokovic will not only secure Musetti a first title of the season, but will also result in a debut appearance at the season-ending ATP Finals in Italy next week. World #1 Aryna Sabalenka overcame Amanda Anisimova in a high-octane battle to set up the WTA Finals title showdown with Elena Rybakina in Riyadh on Saturday. Sabalenka had to dig deep to overcome Anisimova 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 in the semi-final. She clocked 12 aces and saved 6 break points to book her place in the final for a second time in 5 appearances. Earlier, Rybakina came from a set down to dismantle Jessica Pegula's 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, reaching the final with a perfect record. She takes another step towards a maiden title in the tournament. The final clash will pit the 2 unbeaten players from the tournament, with 2022 finalist Sabalenka holding the edge thanks to her 8-5 head-to-head record against Rybakina, including a win in the Australian Open final 2 years ago. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.